We live in a modern and enlightened world where modern combat sports such as MMA and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu are becoming increasingly popular. But there are also countless traditional martial arts schools that want to keep their traditions and unfortunately completely close their eyes to the modern world and its transformation. It happens far too often that things are promised that were then not kept in the end. The internet is a great invention, and unfortunately there are countless examples that show that many myths still persist in people's minds. Here, one must certainly also place some of the blame on the martial arts films of the 70s and 80s. In this video we will look at 5 myths about traditional martial arts that are still believed and misunderstood by many practitioners and martial arts fans. Number 5. As long as your skills are good enough, physical shape doesn't matter. A really big red flag for me personally is when I come to a martial arts class and the instructor or teacher is out of any physical shape unless he's like 80 or 90 years old. Most of the times these individuals claim to be the head of their own schools or styles. This misconception then comes from the belief that their own techniques are so brilliant and effective that they do not need to rely on physical attributes like stamina, muscle strength, or conditioning. Today, in almost any competition, we find weight classes, and this for a very good reason. If a martial artist is out of shape, most of the times also the techniques don't work and he or she will soon be in trouble. Especially having a decent amount of muscle is not only a huge advantage for you, it is also a protection for your body against injuries. And believe me, those injuries will come with the years of practicing in martial arts. Number 4. Our techniques are too deadly for real fighting, that's why we don't train them with resistance. It really doesn't matter if the techniques are only too dangerous for self-defense or too dangerous for a controlled fight. A large number of traditional martial arts schools still continue to claim to have secret knowledge about certain techniques that no one else has in this world. Be it a special strike with the back of the hand or some secret pressure points to the body. These schools often argue that these techniques cannot be proven because they are too dangerous to demonstrate. And there we have the circular argument. This is not only very elitist and snobbish, but also logical nonsense. If such techniques really existed, someone else would have found them out long ago and we would find them in today's modern martial arts and in respected self-defense systems in an applied and appropriate way. Our body is at the same time a very robust and strong tool that can withstand a lot of pressure, but also can break easily. An armbar can break your arm, an uppercut can break your jaw, and a finger thrust can take your eyesight. However, just because something is dangerous, we can't just leave the argument with I would, I could, and I should. The far better option is to look for ways and solutions to practice these techniques anyway. Let's face the truth. How the hell can you know that you can really use this finger thrust, this one technique, under stress, if you have never practiced it under such circumstances? That's right, you don't know, and most likely you also won't be able to pull it off. Number 3. If you train long and hard enough, you will become unconquerable. Film scenes like Ip Man are to blame here, in which Master Ip beats up 10 black belts all by himself at the same time. These scenes look absolutely fantastic from a cinematic point of view, but unfortunately don't have to do anything with the real world. Nevertheless, there are still practitioners who only train with cooperative partners, whether conscious or not, until they see themselves and their abilities so top level that untrained or even trained people are no longer a match for them. This is unfortunately no longer a challenge at some point, and the lack of pressure testing will only lead to underestimating a real solution. Anyone who has been in a fight will know that even an untrained person can put much power into a straight punch. And since we don't always want to be in fights, practicing these maneuvers in a controlled environment with real-life resistance is the key to gaining the necessary experience. Number 2. Training kata or forms will make you a good fighter. Still from the days of Karate Kid and other martial arts movies comes the widespread myth that training forms would prepare you for a real fight. Thanks to the internet, as traditional martial arts were exposed to more combat-oriented practices, it became clear that unless you train with a live resisting opponent, all of your complicated and beautiful looking movements will be beneficial for others, but will not prepare you for a real fight. We become good at what we train. By doing Taolu only, we will become good at presenting them. Only when you learn the reason why you do a certain movement, you can then go the necessary step further and test them out with a resisting partner in a sparring match. If you want to become good at that, then there's no other way than to put yourself into the situation, and even if it might be in a coordinated circumstance. Number 1. No touch techniques are for whatever reason a valid thing to learn. We all want to believe deep inside of us that movies like Harry Potter and magic is in some ways true. It would make our lives so much more special and exciting, but unfortunately we don't live in such a world. Apart from a brilliant marketing move, there's really not much to say about this here. Anyone who still thinks that they can defeat opponents from far away with a special chi power has definitely watched too many anime. I too wish that these cool abilities from Dragon Ball, Naruto and Avatar The Last Airbender really would exist, but unfortunately it's all bullshit. It was proven already more than a dozen of times on the internet, and as soon as a no-touch master faces a person out of his belief system, their techniques fall apart immediately. When you watch clips like this, it's always people from the master's own environment. The subjects are compliant and consciously or unconsciously submitting to the display of the supernatural. However, not once has such a no-touch knockout technique been successfully tested on a real outsider. And if a test did take place, it failed in every form. Usually cheap excuses are found, such as the test person was a non-believer or he had his tongue at the wrong place.
The skeptic was a totally non-believer, plus, I don't know if I should say that on film, but if the guy had his tongue in the wrong position of the mouth, that can also nullify it. Yeah, you can nullify it. You can nullify a lot of things done to you. In fact, you can nullify them if you raise those two big toes.
You're a fool. Can't beat me.
And even if this would be a legitimate argument, what sense would it make to learn such a technique that only works if the attacker has its tongue in the right position? Matt Thornton wrote an awesome essay about that phenomenon called Its Aliveness Still, and I will link you this article in the video description, and I highly recommend you check this out. There are many more myths surrounding martial arts, but I find these to be the most popular. What else would you add to the list? Let me know in the comments. If you'd like to see more videos like this, please show me by booping the like button. Please go ahead and share this video with your friends that still believe in one of those myths. This will help us to bring more clarity to the world of martial arts and that it stays a positive and good environment for all of us practitioners. And now it would make me incredibly happy if you would give this channel a subscribe. In that way you are going to support me on my journey and also help this little YouTube project of mine. Thank you for watching, and now enough time spent on YouTube, go out there and train.